Stop number 3 on our international voyage is another stop in the UK, and this week I got to sit down with my friend Josie Soulby, who I had the privilege of meeting this summer at camp. Josie is a quiet human being at first glance, which is why she ended up going under my radar for the first half of the summer, but eventually her bubbly personality started to make itself known. Josie was born and raised in Scunthorpe in the United Kingdom, and she speaks 3 languages. She's currently studying language dynamics, concentrating in French and Arabic at the University of Edinburgh. She's living in Morocco as of this recording on an exchange to continue her studies in Arabic. She's a master of bell-bottom jeans and combat boots. She's an expert cotton candy maker, and as part of being a British citizen, she knows how to make an insane cup of tea. Josie is also one of the most caring and attentive people that I have ever met in my life. So this week, Jojo talked about her experience in Canada for the summer, moving to Scotland for school, travel, languages, and so much more. Josie, it's been entirely too long, and I'm glad you're living your best life in Morocco, even though they entirely embarrassed us in soccer. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you, and I expect you to visit with cotton candy as soon as you're able. Remember that you can do absolutely anything you set your mind to, ma'am, and for those of you listening, I hope you enjoy this week's episode of What Makes You Happy. So today, I am sitting down with Josie, and Josie is from the United Kingdom. Correct?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so the first thing, Josie, if you would, tell the people your name, obviously, where you're from, maybe what you're studying in school, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, okay. My name is Josie. I currently live in Scotland. I'm studying at the University of Edinburgh. I'm studying language dynamics, and within that, mostly French and Arabic.
So, Josie is a superhero because she speaks English very well, and she speaks what Andrew has dubbed the true English, and I laughed really hard at that. She also speaks French, but if you ask her that, she wouldn't agree with you, which is ridiculous, because if you're studying it in university, you definitely have a grasp on the language. Thank you very much. And then the third is Arabic, which is the coolest thing in the world. Josie, you're one of the coolest people in the world. Come on. You're going to be able to travel so many places and be able to talk to so many people. So is that on the list of to-dos after you've graduated?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. When I first applied to university, we had to, say why. We did a personal statement. And the majority of it was just talking about how I really want to talk to people in their own native language. Mm-hmm. You can't understand somebody's experience if you haven't listened to them in their own words.
I agree.
I
agree. And I don't know, I was having this conversation with Jesus and Andrew on Friday. My viewpoint on it is, I don't feel like it's disrespectful to move somewhere and not learn a language, but I feel like it's disrespectful to move somewhere permanently and not at least make an effort, because the language is a part of the culture, and you're not going to get the culture and the history if you don't speak the language.
No, it's a disservice to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And generally it just makes you more of a hindrance to everybody else that you interact with because of your reliance. So
exactly, and I feel like that would get emotionally taxing. It's like, oh, great, now I have to go order food again, and it's going to take 20 minutes because I don't know what to say. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Josie, I'm going to warn you right now, I love Calgary. I love Calgary so much, and you don't do me like that. And you guys have spent the last 6 weeks in Calgary on the weekends and in the Kananaskis and etc. area, because you also went to Banff, right? Mm-hmm. Over the last 6 weeks of your summer, how have you enjoyed this experience in Canada? And we're just talking about the country, that could be the people, what it looks like, you know what I'm saying, the feeling you get when you're here. Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm talking about Kananaskis, the country, the nature, it's a little piece of home which I really enjoy.
Awesome.
Moose Mountain, that kind of landscape is what I'm used to seeing out of my bedroom window when I'm at home with my family. The city of Calgary, it's an experience.
I would agree.
it's so different from what I imagined, and such a different way of life.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't expect it. It's a city with people in it. You wouldn't expect it to have such a different impact on you than your home city, but it does.
Mm-hmm. When you say it's a different way of life, what are we talking about? Like, are we just talking about the things that you see people do on a day-to-day basis, like when you've been out and about in the city? Are we talking about the traffic stuff? Because we were talking about lights on the way out of here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's such a big driving culture here, and it sounds very unimportant, but it entirely changes the dynamic of people's lives here. You know, when you drive through the city, everything's massive signs and lights that have got really crisp edges that have been made to be seen from a car from a distance.
Interesting.
When you walk through the streets, there's nothing to look at.
Okay.
Because it's all up there.
Okay.
That's different and very strange to me.
Right.
But, yeah.
No, I mean, I could never see it that way because I grew up here until you give me that perspective, because I get what you mean. Obviously there's advertising everywhere, but a lot of our adverts are absolutely massive, or they're spinning, or they're waving, and it's trying to like grasp your attention. Everything is super colorful. Do you notice, like, at nighttime when you were in the city, like, is there too much light, if you get what I'm asking? Like, is it too bright? Does it not feel like it's nighttime?
I feel like that's just a city condition. I feel like everywhere is mostly like that, at least the cities that I've experienced. I wouldn't say that the lighting's much different.
Okay.
It's just, it feels like it's not made for people to live there.
Interesting.
I don't know, it's not made for pedestrians.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's like, I was walking around with Maria. It was like the first time I'd ever really spent much time with her. And we were in the city for an entire day with nothing to do. And I felt stranded. I was surrounded by people, businesses, but there was nowhere that we could sit down and eat or sleep, or if any of basic human needs. No public toilets, nothing. It was just...
I get exactly what you mean. So, for example, when I'm out and when I was working lawn care and I needed to use the bathroom, like I would use an outhouse, because there's lots of outhouses, because construction, I'm telling you, there's 2 seasons, winter and construction season. But if there wasn't an outhouse around, that involves going to like a McDonald's or going to any type of fast food restaurant and just using their bathroom. And the convenience stores, not all of them have washrooms, so it's like you could drive to one, take 5 minutes off your half an hour break, and then it's like, oh wow, I burned 5 minutes and I still haven't used the toilet. So I get what you're talking about there. But I think it's interesting, nowhere to sit and eat. We picnic a lot here. Like, you grab a blanket and you sit in a park. We're gonna sit here and pretend like I didn't just explain to you what a picnic is, Josie. I'm so sorry. Because we have lots of parks.
That's the thing, there's lots of parks, but there's no one in them. They've got these huge, uncharacteristic and inhumane statues in them.
What?
No, they do!
What do you mean, inhumane statues?
Like, they're just... No, not inhumane, that's not the right word, but they look so unnatural.
Oh,
that's
okay,
what I mean.
yes.
Yeah, inhumane, that's not the right word, but
right.
They just don't look...
They look like they stick out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Like, the modern art wave is definitely happening. But are you telling me you didn't like the huge face that's outside the Bow Building?
Yeah, that one's nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on, let's go. Calgary's
like
the best city in the world, and that's all I want to hear.
Yeah, it's... I don't know, I didn't expect a North American city to be that different from a European one.
It's night and day. So then tell me about Edinburgh, if you would. Because that's where you're going to school, correct?
Yeah.
And then you can tell me about home afterwards, because that's very interesting to me. There's cool stories there, man. Come on.
Okay, Edinburgh it's my safe space. It's absolutely gorgeous, cobbled streets, huge cathedrals and buildings, and everybody cares so much. Every single day there are people out protesting, doing their best to just help with any kind of issue at all. I love it so much. It's gorgeous. That's another thing I love about it. You know, you can see mountains from Edinburgh, you can see the coast, and
it sounds like a fairy tale, to be honest.
It is a fairy tale. My favourite thing is walking through the old town and just knowing that millions and millions and millions of people have, like, I'm walking the same footsteps as millions of people from thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy feeling.
You can't get that kind of history here. I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Okay, so when we're talking about huge cathedrals, I've seen Notre Dame, obviously, but I didn't ever get to go inside. Are we talking about multiple churches? Obviously not that big, but like around that size scale?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
There's churches everywhere on every street. There's the Edinburgh Castle that crests this hill, and it's just a landmark from anywhere in the city. You look at there and you think, oh, that's where I need to go.
Come on.
Yeah. It's wonderful. I miss it very much.
As you should. And the beautiful thing is you get to go home soon.
I do.
Are you going to go home first and then back to Edinburgh, or are you just going straight for school?
No, so I'm going home for 4 days, Edinburgh for 2, and then I move to Africa.
I'm sorry, what? What the heck?
Yeah.
What is happening?
I am moving to Morocco.
Okay.
On the 6th of September for 9 months.
Just for school?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Josie, that's going to be it's going to be incredible. The food that you're going to get to eat there is going to change your life, man.
I know.
Of course, that's the first thing I talk about. Not the landscape. Well, I don't know anything else about anything else. I can't lie to you. But the food and the culture that you're going to embrace yourself in there is going to be very, very interesting. Oh, that's so
interesting, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's different. It's always, it's never
course,
easy to make a transition like that. Like, I was saying to you, I believe, when we were talking on the porch last week, that I could not do what you guys have done. I had an offer to go to a camp in Minnesota, and I would have loved to do that, but I would have been paying to work. That doesn't compute in my brain. And like, sure, Minnesota is different, obviously, it's somewhere else, but that does not feel like travel for me. I couldn't convince myself to pay to travel, even though I'm getting paid, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, if I did not have my bed, I would go ballistic. So I don't understand what you guys are doing. I don't understand. You're better people than I am. That's all I have to say.
No, I don't think so. I think I would have been the same if you asked me a year ago. But to me now, the basic needs of like sleeping and eating, they're just things that like I need to do in the day just to live.
Get by.
Yeah, they're not things that I live for.
Right.
They're things that help me to live.
Right.
So, you know, like in Morocco, everyone says I'm crazy, but I don't actually have anywhere to live yet.
Okay.
But I don't care.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Come on. Josie, that's going to be incredible. I cannot even fathom. I have to go to Edmonton for the next 8 months of my life, and you're going to be in Morocco. Come on. I'm so happy for you. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah.
When it comes to your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, and your emotional health, what makes you happy?
Okay. I'm going to start with physical.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's the easiest.
Okay.
For me, physical health, it's about sport, but specifically competition.
Okay.
I don't want to wake up in the morning and go on a run for the sake of improving my physical health.
Okay.
I want it to make me happy. So...
You have to beat someone.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to be working with other people in a team for a common goal of being better.
Yes, I agree.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah, I find, I don't know, working out or going on runs for the sake of looking better or just being a healthy human, that's... It dulls very easily and leads to repetitive monotony, which I can't
No,
I
clearly
can't handle it.
you're moving to Morocco after being in Canada. It seems like you're running away from something, Josie.
No.
Come on. Okay, so it gets repetitive, but competition, like, did you play organized sport a lot growing up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay, tell me about that.
Okay, so I did a lot of athletics, mostly field, so long jump, high jump. I also did hurdles.
That's so impressive. Come on.
I don't know. I grew up on, like, I don't know, it's somewhat toxic. It can become very toxic anyway if you don't have the right coaches. So I did end up having to quit when I was, I think, 16 because I couldn't
it wasn't the best environment.
No, especially because it's an individual sport. It feels entirely for yourself.
Right.
If you're not helping to lift other people up, why are you doing it?
I agree.
If you're not even enjoying it, you know?
I agree.
So, yeah, I found my happy place in netball, definitely. Yeah. And you guys don't have it here, but...
I know what you're talking about, but they might not, so go ahead.
It's... I don't know. The closest comparison is definitely basketball. It's a version of basketball that people say is more tame, but that's not true.
I don't know. You can't walk with the ball. You can't move with the ball.
You can. No, you can. You can. It just... It requires more thought.
Okay.
So it means that you can't impulsively run with the ball. You have to know you're going to run with the ball before you even catch it, and I think that's even more impressive.
Okay. And I can't disagree with you because you've played it and I have not. But I think what's very interesting, the way you were talking about a team, that's how I feel. Obviously in sport, but like here, for example, or I don't know, like a family unit. I like looking at everything like it is a team because feeling like you're included and, like you said, you're striving to improve yourself for the sake of improving everybody, it's way easier. Because then it's like, not only do I have a responsibility to me, but I have a responsibility to try and make everybody who's around better as well.
Yeah.
And I think that changes a lot.
Definitely. Yeah. There's two sides of the coin, obviously, because your skill directly impacts everybody else's. It means that you have to be able to withstand the pressure of knowing that, you know, perhaps your team today isn't doing so great because you're not doing so great. You have to be able to balance that, but if you're surrounded by good people, it's always worth it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to answer all of them, but if you want to go into mental or spiritual or emotional health, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So my mental health is something that I can't give you a straight answer and say I know that this is what helps my mental health because I'm still working that out.
Okay.
Yeah. Coming to Canada, running away.
Maybe.
I don't know. I came to this little bubble and I felt my mental health has improved drastically since before I came here.
That's good.
But I think what I'm learning is that I spoke to you about this before, my social anxiety. What I'm learning is that actually I need to fight my social anxiety because speaking with people and being around people is what improves my mental health.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I feel like feeding into my social anxiety by being alone, it's just a vicious cycle. So I think that's the direction I'm going in at the moment anyway.
Well, three things. First of all, the fact that you could sit there and say, I can't give you a straight answer, it's beautiful that you know that about yourself, that you're going through these type of learning processes right now. Second of all, that's an uphill battle for sure because I love being people fueled, but if I didn't love the interaction with people and still loved being people fueled, come on. So, Josie, when I tell you that you're a better woman than I am, you need to start understanding that's facts because what is happening? And last, I think the only thing that I would say to add on to that, Josie, is that every time that you're thinking, about somebody else's situation, you're always on the right track. So why wouldn't you have that kind of assuredness in yourself? Because I don't know, I wouldn't be here taking the time to talk to you if you weren't good people, and therefore you can navigate conversations fine. That's all I have to say about that.
I don't know. I've been getting a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time in my life where I would have, in this situation right now, I would be counting in my head who spoke last and for how long.
Right.
Because I had this weird notion that a conversation had to be perfectly balanced,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise I would be lacking. But I'm getting over it.
Good.
So,
And I think it does help that you have somebody who could literally just talk at you for 3 hours if you allowed it. So I'm glad that I'm here to share this experience with you. But I can attest to that. Like, I mean, we don't have nearly enough time. Like, it's 8 weeks, but that's not nearly enough time to have the conversations you want to have with the people that are here, all of them. But just from seeing who you were the first however many days of staff training and who you are today, it's completely different. Like, camp changes people.
Yeah.
So I think that's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were up and now we go down.
Mm-hmm.
Josie, what gets you through your worst days? And I'm talking about the day where you get home and everything has gone wrong. And then your parent walks in the door, the person that you love the most walks in the door, and you just blow up them. And then you have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what gets you through the days where you're like, I'm not who I am anymore?
Yeah. Okay. I've had many of those days. And sometimes you do the things that are right and are going to help you, and sometimes you don't. On the days where I've genuinely done something that's helped me, it's go and talk to someone.
Yeah.
You know, I never allow myself to get to the point where I blow up at people.
Better woman than I am.
I generally don't do that. That's not something I ever have to deal with because I've either isolated myself or I've blown off my steam in a healthy way by going through my thoughts, like what's making me feel this way, and then I talk to somebody else about it, get their opinion. Because sometimes it's just that I don't trust myself to analyse my own feelings, and I need to know what somebody else thinks of how I'm feeling. And sometimes you already know, but saying it aloud just allows you to conceptualise it a lot easier.
But I would also say that I think everybody does feel that way to a certain extent. When it comes to your emotions, it's a lot harder to be a rational judge of what's going on because emotions aren't rational.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that's very impressive. I think, for me, yes, talking to people, but not, like, it has to be a while. If I'm unregulated to the max, I need to be away from absolutely everybody and everything until I feel good again, and then I can go have a conversation about it. Because, like, when I'm dysregulated, the first thing that pops into my head will fly out of my mouth. And that is a danger. I was in the office all the time when I was growing up. It stopped after junior high, but from kindergarten to grade 9, I was in trouble multiple times a year, every year. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's the thing. If I am left alone with an issue, it just runs around in my head.
Right.
I can't get myself out of that rut. That's something I need to work on because I can't rely on myself to do that. I rely on like close people to help me through that. And so I'm very lucky to have them, you know. But yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's so wonderful. I've told you this already, and I've also told Andrew while you were around. So I hope that does not take away from it. But you are. Is it okay if I tell them how old you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Your 20 years of lived experience versus my 22 years of lived experience. It doesn't matter if I've been there every single day for every minute of what you had lived. It's still going to be completely different, right? And like the fact that I would say when it comes to our emotional intelligence, and I would like to know what you think about this, we are very similar, but that is just because I know I'm always paying attention to how other people are feeling. And I know you're that way when your cup is full. It's a different story when your cup is empty, Josie, because then it's no bars hold. We need to make sure we're okay. But I've noticed of the people that are here, there is a select few of them who are constantly checking in. And it may not be on everybody. Like, not everybody can do what I can do. You know what I'm saying? But that's just because I can't stop talking. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate people that can't stop talking.
Good.
I want to listen to other people all day long.
Fair enough.
So, it's good. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like knowing how another person's feeling is how you get to know a person.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit and have meaningless conversations that don't involve a person's emotions or like actual current thoughts, then you can't really know the person. You just know their situation. So yeah, I do like checking in with people. Probably also because I like people checking in with me.
Yes, of course.
So, you know, it's a two-way thing.
Yes, of course. See, for me, it's not the same because when I'm feeling down, like I said, I need to dysregulate myself so that I can approach other people. But there's so many beautiful people here that when you're going through it, you're going to get at least 15, are you okay? No, but you can clearly see that, but I just got to deal with it myself, you know. So I know that about myself. The problem is I'm still working on the whole communicating that aspect in the brunt of when your emotions are at their peak, if you get what I'm saying. And I know you do. I know you do.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I love a check-in with a person. You know, I want people to rant at me about all of their issues.
I feel the exact same way. I can't lie.
Yeah, that's all I want, because then I can sit through them and look at them through a much more logical lens than they're looking at them, because I can take the emotion out of it for them, and that's what a lot of people need to hear. You know, they need to see the logical one, and then they'll realise if they want the logical choice or the emotional choice,
or somewhere right in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, you're a big softie, Josie. That's what I love to hear. I feel the exact same way. See, this is why it infuriates me when you make claims X, Y, or Z. No, it's fine. After I give you a genuine compliment. Because it's like, Josie, I can guarantee you the people who are listening to this, they feel safe. And it's not because I'm here. All I do is scream at them. So it's definitely you, bro. That's all I have to say about that. Come on.
I'd like to be a safe influence.
Yes. It's not like to be, that is who you are, whether you like it or not. There is a reason I told you, like, people gravitate towards you, Josie, because you remind me of, just because this was my experience, a shortbread cookie over the Christmas holiday sitting in front of the fire with my grandma. And just that feeling, it's just, that is your being. And that's the best I can explain it. That's the best I can explain it.
Okay.
Come on.
It sounds like a good thing.
Oh, the best thing in the world. I don't even like shortbread cookies, but I really liked my grandma. She was awesome. Anyway.
I've been called a lot of things. Never a shortbread cookie, but, you know.
There's a first time for everything.
Yeah.
Come on. Is there any external sources, other than obviously people, that you find comfort in as well? Because, like, for me, in case you haven't been able to tell, I cannot stop moving. So, like, having something in my hand or something to bounce on, something to listen to, something rhythmic is necessary for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I would probably say it's still other people's words. So it's music, particularly Taylor Swift. Now I'm lying on the cold, hard ground. I adore Taylor Swift. Her music, when you listen to the stuff that isn't made for the radio, that isn't made to be pleasing,
and you truly listen to the lyrics, yes.
Yeah, you can read in between the lines so much and find yourself in them. That's what I like to do. I like to listen to music. I like to read, and I like to write. Writing's probably my favourite of all of them. If I don't have access to another person to talk my problem out with, my journal's getting hit. So, you know.
Yes, I genuinely do. And I sleep on reading still because I have such horrible handwriting, and writing is so much work. But like sometimes it's either open the journal or kick a hole in the wall. And I would never actually kick a hole in the wall because 1, then I have to fix a wall. 2, I might break my foot. And 3, come on.
Yeah.
But the moral of the story is like, for me, I always go when I'm at my worst, and then by the time I'm done journaling, I'm talking about happy shit. It happens every single time.
Yeah, definitely. When you read my journal, it makes no sense to absolutely anyone but me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never talk about situations directly.
Interesting.
I just talk about how they make me feel. So...
Big softy.
Yeah, if you read my journal, it would be like, oh, she felt sad and then she got happy, but like you would have absolutely no idea what had actually happened.
Right.
Which I think is the best thing, because the real puzzle is my emotions. It wasn't the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So...
See, I feel the exact same way. Like, the physical labor, that's fine. The emotional labor, that is not fine. Mm-hmm. It is so hard. It is so hard.
Yeah.
And I think being able to find those people, and I would like to ask you about your friends after this, because this is where I'm segueing into. Being able to find those people that you're comfortable with and you can just exist with so that you can walk through your emotions. If I didn't have my best friends, I would have died growing up. Because everything, even now, is existential to me. When I see a problem, I'm like, if I don't solve this, the world is going to end. And it helps because I always go above and beyond. But it's also like, it's not the best. That is not the best. So, how is your support system at home outside of your family? Because I know I've listened to your relationship with your family. But your friends, your dogs, your et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a friendship group from home that they are absolutely wonderful. I still talk to them every single day. I haven't lived near any of them for 2 years. Yes. And we still talk to each other every single day about everything.
Let's go.
Do not know what I would do without them.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about childhood friends, I don't even think I could say that they were my childhood friends, because they weren't. I don't speak to my childhood friends anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they were there to catch me in that.
Right.
And so, we bonded over that. They were all childhood friends, so they have that slight link.
Mm-hmm. And they let you in, that's beautiful.
They let me in, they saved me. I owe my life to them. And then at university, I'm so lucky I found such a wonderful group of people, because we were all locked in a room together for a year.
Yeah.
Not allowed to do anything, but get to know each other, which I'm so grateful that they are so decent.
Yeah, fair enough.
They are just good human beings that I can have fun with and exist with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to worry about, I don't know, being anyone other than myself.
Yeah.
Which it's a blessing.
It is a blessing.
Yeah.
The only other thing I was going to say is it's hard enough when you have a bad roommate and it's a normal year. So like if it had been a COVID year and you move in and it's just 4 psychopaths with such a sane human being, Josie, I think you would have cracked. So.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you don't have the strength. It's just crazy people make you crazy. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
One question for you. Can you tell us about the sweet shop? The candy shop for us North Americans that your family owns?
Yes. Okay. So I think we've run it for 3 years now. It's my dad's little experiment.
Okay.
I've told you
we're about to have a guest. Yeah. It's your dad's little project?
Yeah, I've told you he's not educated at all, has 0 qualifications, but is a very intelligent man. Mm-hmm. He just did not have the right circumstances growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So he found his way to make money, because he can't listen to anyone else as his boss, is to be his own boss.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's running a sweet shop, which it's hilarious because he loves football and drinking beer, and you just don't picture him as running a sweet shop, but that's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
It's bright pink in the middle of this gorgeous little country town that has a market every week, and it's stressful. It's stressful, without a doubt, but it's a means to an end. So
not only that, you got to brag every day you went to school. I work at a candy shop. My parents work at a candy shop. And then you got to bring people candy, Josie. Yeah. Come on. You would have been the coolest. And you're still the coolest. Come on.
Yeah. Like, it's great. My summer job was always spinning candy floss for kids. And that's... the little faces light up because it's bigger than their own head. And
do a couple translations. When she said football earlier, that's soccer.
Yeah.
And candy floss? What is candy floss? Cotton candy. Come on. This is silly.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
No,
you're making me too comfortable. Usually I translate things when I'm here, but
okay,
I'm
stop
too
it. No, stop it. You don't get to give those compliments to me and make me uncomfortable. That is my job. No. That's my job. Okay, so, for those of you listening, we have moved on to the third question. Josie, in the last 6 months of your life, is there anything that you're particularly thankful for, that you have truly enjoyed and you want to put out into the world, give your thanks? And in the coming 6 months of the things that you know, is there anything that you're nervous for or anything that you're particularly dreading that you just want to talk about? Because there's somebody here.
Yeah, okay. So over the past 6 months, obviously I've been here for nearly 3, but just before that, I am so grateful to my mum for pushing me to come here.
Good.
Because I wasn't going to.
That would have been a crime.
I know.
Shout
I know
out
that
to Josie's
now.
mom,
I know that
to be
now.
honest.
Yeah. I was worried about exam results. I was convinced that I'd failed, and so I'd have to come out here and then leave early to resit an exam, and it's all logistical, and I don't like leading my life around logistics. So I'm glad that she, took me out of that mindset, because this is the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Coming here, it's changed me a lot. So I'm very grateful to her for making me brave.
That's what parents are for. That's wonderful. I think my one question to add on to that, Josie, why do you think it is? Because I'm the same way. After I write an exam, till I get my grade back, I think I've done awful. And I know, like, my preparedness, I haven't done awful. I may have done bad, but I didn't do awful, right? Yeah. So, what do you think it is that leads you? Because is it just in academic things, or no? Because I had to force Josie to go on a rope swing. She was terrified. Oh no, I don't have a video of that. I hope you or somebody else has a video of that so I could show them. But do you feel like you have to reapproach a situation multiple times before you can conquer it in a lot of ways? Or you're always worried about the results of something that's happened?
Yeah, I'm always worried about the results in anything. I don't know why. I've never failed an exam. Obviously, I'm 20.
Stop flexing on us, Josie. Come on.
No, but I don't know. I've come obviously very close. I've scraped the bottom of the barrel a few times, but I've always made it through, and still every single time I think it was awful, and I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. In sports and everything, I'm always convinced that I've done badly until someone else tells me that I didn't. I need to hear it from an external source.
Good. It's a good thing I'm here then. I think you've been learning a lot about yourself. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just this little negative voice in my mind that I need to get over, because it talks a lot of shit. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. I made a mistake earlier. It happens. One day at a time, right? That's... The self-talk is the hardest part. And for me, the reason I haven't had to worry about it for the last 6 weeks is because I am worried about a million other things that involve other people. Mm-hmm. But when I'm on my own, still, it happens. And I catch myself, oh, you're being an idiot right now. No, I'm not. I just did something dumb. That doesn't mean I'm an idiot, mm-hmm. right? And being able to rebuild that repertoire with yourself, that inner conversation, it's not easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's. I feel as though it's about forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Because you expect yourself to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And you've just got to be able to forgive that you can't.
No matter what.
Do everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to try, though.
No.
Yeah, I'm still going to try. I knew that was coming, man. Josie, if there's work to be done, I'm going to do the work. It doesn't matter. And that's all I have to say about that.
I wish it just wasn't sometimes your own expense.
I don't disagree with you. My biggest issue is that boundaries when it comes to anything. That is just my biggest problem. Because it's like, I'll say no when I have to say no. Like this weekend, I did not come out with you guys. I got sleep and I wrote my paper. But during the week at work, I'm exhausted. I got 6.5 last night. I want to get up so I can work out and regulate myself. Okay, then I get up and work out. But then that only gives me like 6 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted throughout the day, taking care of the kids. And then it's like, I'm going to stay up and talk to a beautiful person for 3 hours tonight. But we only have 8-9 weeks here.
Mm-hmm.
Come.
Yeah, what's sleep?
Exactly. Exactly. What did you say earlier? Sleep and food, they are not what I live for. They're just things that help me live.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're a very smart woman, Josie. Come on. Come on. Okay, you've been avoiding this. In the coming 6 months, what are you dreading? I know there's things. I know there is.
Yeah.
You haven't told them to me, but I can see them. I can see them.
Yeah, I'm relocating continents again.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's also terrifying. Talk to me.
Yeah, okay. So, the one thing that's terrifying about it is I've never been to Africa, Morocco, specifically Morocco, the Middle East, MENA, whatever you want to call it. I've only heard other people's experiences. And of course, unfortunately, with the media, they're not always positive.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm learning that you can't judge anything until you've experienced it for yourself. So I'm not so worried about that. One thing I am worried about is finding friends. Because I don't know
or
a single
place
person.
To live?
Yeah. No, that's not a priority.
Okay.
No. I don't know. I don't know a single person in Morocco. I'll be going to a language school with a capacity of about 20 students that aren't necessarily there for a full year. Sometimes they're only there for this one class or whatever. So the lack of consistency in the people around me might be a challenge. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a challenge, maybe it won't be.
Won't know until you get there.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully these days we have the internet. So if I genuinely find no person
you
to be my friend.
Other people.
Yeah.
Josie, come on. Morocco is going to be lining up at the door with... actually, no. Why would they have pitchforks and, torches if they're trying to be your friend? They're going to show up with bears and flowers and chocolates and music, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know.
Don't let me discredit your feelings. Your feelings are entirely valid.
Of course, yeah. But yeah, hopefully I find some good people because as I've stressed, people mean a lot to me.
Yeah, and I feel the exact same way. I get overly emotionally attached to everybody. Doesn't matter if it's the kids that I'm watching for 6 days. It doesn't matter if it's friends that I'm making, or it doesn't matter if it's a romantic or an amicable relationship. I love love. I love feelings so much, so I get exactly how you mean. I don't think the world could go round without people interacting amicably or like cordially on it. If we couldn't get along, we'd fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
And that is my scientific theory of the day. don't care who says it's wrong, it's right, and that's all I have to say. Okay, Josie.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the episode is always free, so I'm going to ask you a couple questions. 1, were you nervous before we started? And 2, how are you feeling now?
I was very nervous before we started. You called me this morning. I was just about to go in the shower.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It was 9:30 in the morning. That's on me. I apologize.
It's okay. And you asked me if you could bring me to camp. And so I distracted myself with that part because I needed a way to get to camp. I needed a way for my friends to get to camp that were also in the hotel. So I was like, yes, definitely, absolutely. But yeah, I don't like talking about myself.
You did a great job, Josie.
Thank you.
And the people are going to love you. Come on. I'm telling you, I mean this in the humblest way possible. I'm a good judge of character sometimes. Most of the time. And if I love you, they're going to love you. And Josie, I have had nothing but good experiences with you every single time we interact. Come on. But is there anything in your life that you want to talk about? Is there any friends that'll be like, oh my goodness, she said my name. No, thank you. Doesn't matter who it is, what it is. Is there anything that you want to tell the people before we cut this one off? Because unfortunately, we have work to do. I don't have my phone on. I don't know what time it is. It's almost 3.
It's 3.
Yeah. So, is there anything you want to say before we run out of here and get COVID swapped?
I just want to say that you are very lucky people to get to listen to this wonderful man right here. Because...
Stop it.
It's true! To have found this little place on the internet and listen to this man talk about what makes him happy makes me happy. So I'm glad that there are other people experiencing this too.
That's the thing. People make me happy, and you're good people, Josie. So genuinely, thank you for the time. For those of you listening, I really hope you enjoyed this week's episode of What Makes You Happy. I don't know how many of these are going to come out and how many people I'm going to talk to, but if there's beautiful people like you and Noah and Andrew in the world who are willing to sit down and tell me their story, I will take that 10 times out of 10. Cool?
Cool.
Done. That easy, Josie. Fear nothing. We conquer those.
Yeah.